call to order the meeting on Monday, April the 11th. If you'd like to join us for the Pledge of Allegiance, please stand at this time. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And would the clerk please take the roll?
Councilmember Archibald.
Here.
Councilmember Ashford.
Present.
Councilmember Lamb.
Here.
Councilmember Mosherak.
Here.
Councilmember Pemberton.
Here.
Councilmember Ruiz.
Here.
Mayor Rep.
Here. You have before you the minutes from the regular meeting of March 28th. Is there a motion to receive and file?
So moved, Madam Chair.
Support. Councilmember Ashford, supported by Mayor Pro Tem Archibald. Is there any changes? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The minutes stand as submitted. We have one presentation tonight.
Proclamation recognizing April as Child Abuse Prevention Month will be presented to representatives of the St. Clair County Child Abuse and Neglect Council.
I'm going to assume that's you, Sherry. We still should do it down there. Okay. Whereas Port Huron's children are our future, whenever one child is abused or neglected, the entire community suffers. And whereas in St. Clair County, 5,757 children were living in poverty, 3,530 children were living in homes investigated for child abuse and neglect, and 583 children were confirmed victims of child abuse and neglect. And whereas child abuse is one of the nation's most serious public health problems, and studies have well documented the link between abuse and neglect in a wide range of medical, emotional, and behavioral disorders, including depression, alcoholism, drug abuse, and juvenile delinquency. And whereas unemployment, poverty, parental drug and alcohol abuse, stress, and social isolation increase the risk for an environment in which child maltreatment can occur. And whereas promoting optimum family functioning, resiliency, adequate social support systems, and knowledge of parenting child development are all known protective factors which prevent child maltreatment and help strengthen families. And whereas this month and each month hereafter, this city and county, under the leadership of the St. Clair County Child Abuse and Neglect Council, pledges the strength of our entire community to prevent child abuse and neglect and not to stand by in silence. Now therefore I, Pauline M. Rep, by the authority vested in me as mayor of the city of Port Huron, and on behalf of council members Archibald, Ashford, Lamb, Mosherak, Pemberton, and Ruiz, do hereby proclaim April 2022 to be Child Abuse Prevention Month in the city of Port Huron. Child abuse prevention is an acknowledged community responsibility, and it is our duty to cherish our children and help them grow and develop to their fullest potential. I will give this to Council. Thank you. There you go.
Appreciate that. Mayor, fellow council members, City Manager Freed, thank you and good evening. All children deserve to grow up in a caring and loving environment, yet hundreds of thousands of children, abuse and neglect are tragic reality, often causing lasting consequences. We know that abuse negatively impacts every aspect and stage of a child's life. It impacts the ability for them to succeed in school and often hinders their ability to forge healthy relationships. We also know that one of the most important tools to break the cycle and eliminate the tragedy of child abuse is prevention. The St. Clair County Child Abuse and Neglect Council provides prevention education in every elementary, middle, and high school in St. Clair County. Our goal is to teach children how to protect themselves, teaching them the difference between appropriate and inappropriate touching at the very youngest of ages, and then building up to topics like bullying, sexual harassment, internet and social media safety, human sex trafficking, and date rape at each appropriate age level as they go on. Through our Child Advocacy Center, we conduct forensic interviews of alleged child abuse victims, both sexual and severe physical, from the ages of 3 to 17. More than 2,200 children have come through the doors of our Child Advocacy Center since it opened in late 2007. These children are the victims of abuse right here in St. Clair County. But we know that those children who come to us are just a small number compared to those who are actually victimized. The month of April is designated as National Child Abuse Prevention Month. Raising awareness of the problem is the first step. Prevention starts with education and ends with every child being safe and protected. Now is the best time to start that conversation and ask our community to get involved. If you are a parent, a grandparent, aunt, uncle, teacher, or your life intersects with children in any way, we ask that you think and talk about child abuse. Preventing abuse and neglect is a shared obligation, an obligation that we must undertake as one, in our homes, in our neighborhoods, in our schools, and in our community. Child abuse prevention is not just for the month of April, but for a lifetime. Thank you.
Thank you. We will move on to public comment. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to address the council this evening? Come forward, give us your name and where you live, and you have 4 minutes. Seeing no one, public comment is closed. We'll move on to the consent agenda. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Mayor Pro Tem Archibald, supported by Councilmember Pemberton, and we'll take the vote.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Councilmember Mosherak?
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz?
Yes.
Mayor Rep?
Yes. The items on the consent agenda: receive and file notification from the Michigan Liquor Control Commission that an application has been received from Blue Water Co-Packing LLC for a new microbrewer license and new winemaker license located at 2723 Connor Street. Recommending the Michigan Liquor Control Commission approve above all others the application of Larry Jones, 321 Huron Avenue, for a Class C license pursuant to Public Act 57 of 2018. Confirmed and approved single lot special assessments for fines, assessments, and/or cost of removing blight, blighting factors, and/or causes of blight, as well as the abatement of nuisances. Approve the appointment of Jason Tolan, Master Mechanical Contractor, to the Construction Board of Appeals with term to expire June 30th, 2024. And confirm the mayor's reappointment of Sherry Smith and Evan Wilkins to the Brownfield Redevelopment Authority with terms to expire April 14th, 2025. And we will move on then to item 1 from the city manager.
Accepting the proposal from Great Lakes Recreation Company in the amount of $187,350 for the purchase and installation of a new play structure at Haynes Park.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Councilmember Ashford, supported by Councilmember Mosherak.
Madam Mayor and Council, in your packet and up on your screen, you will have the play structure that will be approved tonight. We're hopefully going to get this in by July. This is part of part of a comprehensive program to redo all of our parks and recreation throughout the city. In addition to the playground structure, we are going to be doing a little TLC to Haynes Park. There's some fencing issue, there's some tilted trash cans to be replaced. But that is a very important neighborhood. It's walkability to a lot of homes. We always talk about some of the North End and South End parks, but we kind of forget about the Middle Belt region of the neighborhood. I believe we had some residents here a couple weeks ago who also talked about that park needing some help, and so that's what we're doing. And this will be appropriated out of the money allotted to in your work session for Parks and Recreation.
Any questions for the city manager? Yes.
Is someone here representing?
I am tonight.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, I am fully briefed.
You always represent.
Fully
someone.
briefed.
Oh, okay. No, I just want to draw attention to some of the significance that can be attributed to this playground equipment, because most of the equipment that Nancy and the rec department have been, has just been outstanding, and certainly appreciated. And the fact that the age group, crosses from 2 to the 12, I think. And then we have the ADA, that shows the inclusiveness of this playscape. And then also it's an environmental aspect to this, where you have the nature lead roof. I think it's leaf roof. You're getting more into, it's not just a playground, but you can learn from it, and you can feel more safe, in the security wise of it. So I think this is really good. It seems like with each new piece of equipment, we build upon, the last one. So I just think it's very good. And like you said, it certainly is going to attract to this neighborhood per se with the walkability and the access to that play structure. So you guys ought to be commended for, keeping that going and making it consistent throughout our city. I think that's something, you can do it one time, just for show or whatever, but this is really making an impact on the city of Port Huron. So thank you.
Madam Mayor and Council brings up a good point. So if you look at, it's a hot mic tonight. If you, it's been 2 years since I've sat here, so I'm not used to the microphone. It's been a tactical measure in the fact that we identified our largest parks and went after those first, so Lakeside Park, Lighthouse Beach, you have Lincoln Park, Knox Field. Those are the charter parks, which were really expensive playground sets, but just as equally important as all the neighborhood parks. So Mansfield Park, the Top Park, you're seeing our focus now move into the neighborhoods and really look at these parks that haven't been touched in a while. Studies have shown quality parks and recreation increase property values, so in neighborhood stabilization. There's another item coming up for security of our parks. That's part of this as well. So the residents of this community will be able to see that we're really going in now to these 10 neighborhood parks to really make a generational change here. So there'll be more of this coming up.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments?
Yes, Mayor Rapp.
Yes.
James, the structures that are there right now, are they going to be removed and this is going to replace it?
Correct.
And there's a basketball area, I do believe is that going to stay?
We're working on upgrading that as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else? We will take the vote.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Councilmember Mosherak?
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Mayor Rapp?
Yes. Item 2, please.
Accepting the bid from Evans Consulting Services in the amount of $90,883 for the purchase and installation of cameras and connectivity equipment at 9 city-owned parks and facilities.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Councilmember Lamb. Support. Mayor Pro Tem Archibald.
Madam Mayor and Council, let the word go forth. Our parks will be monitored and videotaped. So should someone decide to make a poor life decision and try to vandalize a piece of our equipment, they will be found and prosecuted. These will also target all of our parks with high population areas that get big crowds. So if some issues were to arise here, we can review the footage as well. But again, this is deterrence.
Any questions?
Yes. I know you probably answered it, but I still need an answer. Like these are identifying 9 of the parks, the high-profile parks, and out of, I think we have about 23 parks altogether. And so is there any plans for the other 14?
Right now, these are focusing on parks with high populations. A lot of those parks are neighborhood parks where there's not many people there. And so there's also connectivity issues and electrification to make sure we have a place to get power. And so in the near term, not right now, because we have to drop power poles and meters at all those sites. Not every park has power to it.
Right.
And so right now, these are the ones that we can access. There are some on here that haven't come to completion, like, for instance, the canal bridge crossing the cemetery. We haven't built that yet. We may not build it this year, so we won't expel those costs. So this probably will actually come in under the contract amount.
Okay. And then also, I see we're using part of the ARP monies for this, along in conjunction with cost savings, the Michigan Municipal Risk Management
Correct.
grant. Okay, so that's really a good financial move. If you don't have to spend the money, you can,
Correct. Our insurance company is
that.
going to give us a $30,000 grant to help fund this because they believe it will help mitigate
okay.
risk.
And speaking of the ARP funds, not at this, but at some point in time, can you kind of give us an update? I know when you gave us a spreadsheet, you're amending as you're going along because some things are in there, and at least I don't know. I don't know what else is happening, and I would like to know that visionary point to see how much we have spent.
I'll have that to you by 9 a.m. tomorrow
That's good with me.
or tonight.
Or tonight?
I gotta go to sleep tonight. No, you're gonna have to put it tonight. Okay, that'll be good because we want to know just which kind of stretch room we have.
Yep.
And I know it's all in compliance. And can you, in your own words, try to to say that, how this is making a difference as far as the ARP?
Yes, so there's specific language in the preliminary final rules and then the final rules adopted by Treasury on what you can expel these for, specifically regarding around safe public spaces and safe city facilities. And so under the interpretation of the law, creating vibrant outdoor public spaces where they're accessible and available, we believe that's safe spaces. Also in the caveat is health and community programs that promote health and recreation. And so under those two, we would believe we target those.
And so that, in case in point, it's in all that is sustainable for the future. And so we are making a valid, investment.
Correct. One of the things that we are working on with Parks and Recreation as well is when all these investments are completed, there should be a depreciation schedule. Meaning if we believe these playgrounds last, 20 years and they're $200,000 a piece, we should be putting about that side of money every year into a fund to fund these playgrounds as they become depreciated and you replace in 15, 20 years. And so we will look at a depreciation schedule as well to make sure they are sustainable.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thanks, Mayor.
Any other comments or questions? We will take the vote.
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Councilmember Mosrek?
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes. Item 3.
Accepting the bid from Clean Cut Maintenance LLC in the estimated amount of $181,500 for 3 years of mowing and trimming at various city-owned parks and properties.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Mayor Pro Tem Archibald, supported by Councilmember Mosrek.
Madam Mayor and Council, this is what we see every single year. It's different types of equipment for different types of mowing. And so you'll see in the next contract that the bidders actually flipped on who was the lowest because they have different types of equipments and different types of methods of mowing. These are highly competitive bids. I am grateful for them. I don't know how they do it for this price, but they do a good job, and our parks are beautiful and the properties are mowed well, so they've just continuously done an excellent job. Both Clean Cut has done an excellent job for the city, and Major League Landscape and Lawn Care has also done an amazing job for the community.
How does this compare to what we spent last year?
I believe it's close. I want to say within 10%, but I can confirm that tomorrow.
Okay. Any questions? We will take the vote.
Councilmember Mosrek?
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes. Item 4.
Accepting the bid from Major League Landscape and Lawn Care LLC in the estimated amount of $156,002 for 3 years of mowing and trimming of approximately 150 city-owned properties and public right-of-ways.
Is there a motion?
Support?
Councilmember Ashford, supported by Councilmember Lamb. And you kind of made your comments on this one at the other one. So unless there's any further questions, we will take the vote.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Councilmember Mosrek?
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes. And item 5.
Accepting the bid from Major League Landscape and Lawn Care LLC in the estimated amount of $32,340 for 3 years of mowing and trimming of various city facilities.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support?
Councilmember Mosrek, supported by Councilmember Pemberton. And unless there's any questions on this particular one,
Yeah, these are, excuse me, Mayor. Yeah, these are both the same contractor, Mayor. Did we get any leverage and any discounts? Was that configured in here in any way, or just it is what it is?
It is what it is. Those are pretty competitive
Pretty
rates.
competitive.
To be candid, we're lucky we got 2 bids. I do worry about labor shortages in the future. It's just tremendously difficult to get workers right now. They've also conveyed that. A lot of contractors aren't taking on additional workers. With that said, if you're looking for an employment opportunity or you have friends, family, or kids who would like a summer job or a summer opportunity, we are also desperate for seasonal help as well.
good.
starting at $15 an hour.
Thank you. If there's nothing else, we will take the vote.
Councilmember Ruiz,
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald,
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford,
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb,
Yes.
Councilmember Mosrak,
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton,
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes. Under resolutions number 1,
Authorizing 14 payments.
is there a motion?
So moved. Support?
Mayor Pro Tem Archibald, supported by Councilmember Lamb. Any questions on the payments?
Yes, Mayor Rep, on page 1 of 2, we have Johnson Controls, and that was one of the largest investments we have. Are they on track, or what are we looking at here?
They are on track. They're beginning to manufacture. As you know, Johnson Controls actually builds their own systems. So the fire control systems, the HVAC systems, they are beginning design and construction of that and beginning assembling that, so they are on track. We're trying to get out ahead of not only market prices going up, but also supplies, meaning that we want to I do believe there's going to be continued shortages of some essential stuff we're going to need. So by getting it designed and getting the progress rolling as fast as possible, we hopefully will mitigate, to the best of our ability, supply shortages and delays from that. So they're doing very well.
Yeah, because you don't have any control over that when they can get it and they can't.
Correct.
But I was just looking there, we're at the MOC doing work by Johnson Controls, Palmer Park, Utility Service, and, you know, they're kind of like all over the globe there, so.
The MOC contract is separate from it's the existing contract we've already had for maintenance of our system here. It's separate from the ARP contract with the other facilities.
Okay, but this is still under Johnson Control.
Yep.
That was my main target.
Yep,
That's
absolutely.
who is doing it. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions on the payments? We will take the vote.
Councilmember Archibald,
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford,
Yes?
Councilmember Lamb,
Yes.
Councilmember Mosrak,
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton,
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz,
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes. Unless there's any objections, do we want to take 2 and 3 together because they both deal with Bard Street, and one is not good without the other one. So if there's no objections, we'll take those both together. Go ahead.
Approving the request to vacate a portion of Bard Street between Merchant Street and Fort Street with a full-width public utility easement. And then I am going to read the title to number 3 a little different because there is a typo with Michigan Street, and that
Fort
should
Street.
read Fort Street. And it's the same thing in the resolution that will be changed. And that will be approving the decertification of Bard Street between Merchant Street and Fort Street in accordance with Act 51 of 1951.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Oh. I got everybody. Councilmember Mosrak, supported by Councilmember Pemberton. That's who I chose.
As long as it gets moved, I don't care who do it. No, that's the key to a meeting. Get it out there and second it, yeah.
Do you want to make any comments on this?
Yeah, Madam Mayor and Council, outside my window in the office, I can look and watch Bard Street for the last 8 years, and nobody uses Bard Streets. It's just an unnecessary piece of infrastructure. It is a large piece of concrete. It was overbuilt and over-designed, I think, back in the day. So we propose removing it, creating a large swath of additional green space in our downtown. What's nice about this is, for those of you who go to Rock on the River, a lot of people set their lawn chairs up in the middle of the concrete of Bard Street. Well, it would be nice if we had nice more green grass for them to set their lawn chairs up. And so this will just add to the green space. We'll maintain our utility easement there. We do have some water and storm underneath there and sewer as well. In the future, theoretically, we could take that infrastructure out and build another mid-rise there in 15, 20 years, or maybe 2 years, who knows. That's not on the horizon. The point is we have this road that nobody uses, this massive piece of infrastructure, when it could be beautiful green space on the water. And so to remove it now while we're doing Fort Street just makes sense. The Planning Commission concurred with our recommendation, and now it's before you tonight.
Thank you. Any questions?
Yeah, I know we got an email where, you know, someone was objecting and didn't think we need to. Did you get that email?
No, I did not.
Okay, yeah. Well, anyway, why are we doing this? And I think you answered it on a visionary scope, and it kind of, when you talk about the master plan, I don't know why I'm getting mixed up here. When you talk about the master plan, it kind of fits in with all of what we're doing down throughout downtown. Is that what you're
Correct.
saying here? It connects the
Correct,
dots.
and it also follows the traffic data. Most people take Merchant to Beers
Yeah.
or Merchant all the way to Grand River. It actually doesn't make sense to come down, to leave on Bard Street and make another turn. Additionally, the adjoining property owners has agreed to this. So we went and met with Dr. Jerry, who owns the Chase building, and asked, what do you think of this? And they supported it. So the adjoining properties did support this initiative as well.
Oh, okay. Well, that helps, because when you're out there, you're doing something, they're sitting at home and they can't see what we see, but it's important that we communicate that, what we're trying, it's a bigger picture. Okay, thank you.
Any questions? We will take the vote.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes?
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Councilmember Mosherak?
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes. Item 4 under resolutions.
Approving the sign maintenance and easement agreement with Fort Gratiot Township and the State of Michigan Department of Transportation for the placement of Welcome to Port Huron signs at various locations throughout the city.
Is there a motion?
So moved. Support?
Mayor Pro Tem Archibald, supported by Councilmember Lamb and Mr. Freed.
Madam Mayor and Council, you approved the gateway entry signs to be constructed this year. Those will be going in the next couple months. I spoke with Supervisor Crawford from Fort Gratiot Township today and talked about the placement of a sign by the canal in Fort Gratiot. I will be, assuming this is approved tonight, I will go and present to the Fort Gratiot board. We probably will have to negotiate some type of swap because it is their property there by the canal. It will be delayed. Rumor has it there's some construction going on in Pine Grove up there. I have avoided the area.
I live there.
Yeah. So that area, so what it'll be is when as you're coming south on Pine Grove, right there across the street from Applebee's, right between Coppinger Motors and the canal, there's like that little green space. We'd like to drop a pole and put the sign right there, which is township property owned there. So I will go and present to them that we would like to place our sign there. They would have to approve the agreement as well. I did talk to Rob Crawford today. Several years ago, their welcome sign by the A&W Shell station there was removed. And so they don't have a welcome to Fort Gratiot sign. And so I think there's a deal to be struck there. So I will go meet with the Fort Gratiot board. Supervisor Crawford and I will meet next week to look at some possibilities. And then the other one will be for the electric and also by the MDOT site. Now the MDOT site getting off of 94, wherever we put the sign, when the plaza project commences, we will have to move this sign. So it may be 2 or 3 years that sign will sit there, and then we're gonna end up moving it 15, 20 feet somewhere else. But really the power pole is the same, the transformer is the same, so we'll just move a concrete pad. So we can move the sign. So I'm working with MDOT saying, hey, please approve this, and we fully know that in 2 to 3 years, we're gonna move it over there. That's fine, it's meant to be moved. Not easy, but it's meant to be moved. So that is what we're working out with this agreement.
Okay, any questions? Okay, we'll take the vote.
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Councilmember Mosherak?
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes, and that concludes our regular agenda. Is there anything else to come before the council this evening from anyone?
Yeah, if I could just say, first, I'd like to congratulate Sherry and your group there, the abuse and everything. And I hadn't been to one of the dinners in ages, and just sitting there and just in that room was just packed from one end to the other, and not just the numbers, the bodies, but the people that were in there really made a difference in what they represent and the interest in what you have been able to do with that group and take that, move that forward for us here, in St. Clair County. It's really very commendable when you do that much for kids and kids who need it and need that help. So I just wanted to publicly say, you and your staff are doing a good job. And thank you so much for what you do.
Thank you.
Yeah, and then also, Mayor Rep, I have I was happened to be visiting some people, and they were talking about, the recycling bins and stuff like that. And I don't know what you do during, when you renegotiate. Like when we did it way before, one tub would do or two tubs, but people are running over. And so I don't know if they need to get bigger tubs or whatever, if that is possible. You need to have some conversations with them.
So right now, you can actually purchase a tote tub from Mterra directly right now, like a Herbie Kirby type tote tub. Mterra will sell that to you right now. And recycling is becoming it's a very complex and difficult issue. When we first began doing recycling many years ago, you used to be able to take a ton of recyclables and dump them for $40. And then they would process it for about $60 it costs and sell the end product, the polymers, the paper, the plastics, for about $80 a ton. So they actually made money by taking your recyclables and processing it and then selling the end product. Whereas the tip fee for a ton of trash at the St. Clair County landfill is right around $66 to $70. It's been a couple of years since I've looked at it. Am I close? Still a ton? Yeah, something a ton. Yeah, it changes, but right around there a ton. And so what's happened now is the polymer end-use market has fallen out of the recyclable material. So now it's costing $70, $80 a ton to dump the recyclables, whereas for 4 or 5 years ago, even 6 years ago, it was like $40. So the cost model has completely flipped, and recycling is becoming much more difficult to make sustainable, and it's much more expensive than it was 5-10 years ago. And so until we find some way to address the end-use polymer markets and the conditions there, recycling will become a very big question. In our next contract, I think that the recycling cost is going to skyrocket because there's no market. We actually had a couple single stream separators here in Port Huron that went belly up and all across the state. Wow. Now all the recycling in Port Huron gets trucked to Roseville. Jeez. That's the nearest sorting facility. And so the entire region goes there, and because all the single stream sorters have gone belly up. So there's a whole interesting case study there. I'll spare you the details from there, but yes, you can get through Mterra.
Yep. So you're telling me, but that's the kind of items that we like to see in our newsletters and stuff like this, letting people know these kind of things, because they may hear it tonight or they might forget it. But
and their annual newsletter gives them the number to call to purchase that tote.
Yeah. Make a big deal out of it so they'll know that.
And they can get more than one container.
Correct.
As they stand right now.
Yep.
Because I have more than one, yeah.
Okay, let's see, do I need anything else? Oh, yes, and also the short-term rentals, and we don't really, I was in a meeting with that, and we don't really have that magnitude. I think when I checked the dashboard, we only had about 35 or 32 or 35 or something like that.
And it's our process, the special use permit that we have it seems to be working out very well. The Planning Commission just addressed another short-term rental in their last meeting where the neighbors sign off on it, and it really helps build buy-in from the neighbors where you have to explain what you're going to do and how you're going to operate it. So I hear a lot of other issues about short-term rentals in other communities. We have really not had those issues here, knock on wood. So I know there's some issues, there's some efforts at the Michigan Municipal League for local control legislation. The mayor drafted a couple letters over the last year, so I think you sent in. But so far, our process seems to be working.
And do we have any policy or ordinance behind that, or it's just working because we don't have that market?
We have ordinance with the special use permit
for
short-term rentals.
Excellent. Okay, we're covered then.
Anything else?
Madam Mayor and Council, just to give you an update on the budget. We are finalizing our budget for this year to bring you to the work session. I gave the mayor the preliminary projections. We did do a 3-year look back on what our budget projections is, and then we also did a 3-year projection forward. We're not rich, but we're balanced budgets for the next 3 years going forward. One of the things I committed to you was multi-year budgeting. We had never done multi-year budgeting until I came in 2014. That really, again, the reason for the multi-year budget, if an issue arises in year 3, well, that gives you guys 3 years to develop a strategy and plan to address that issue. But so far, balanced tight, but balanced going forward. So I will have the budget packets out to you guys.
Next meeting.
Yeah, pretty short order. And Ed's done a fantastic job of making things work, making the sausage. So very good with that. Also, the museums had their first weekend Now, second weekend, free admission, and at our facilities, we're seeing a 300 to 400% increase at all of our museum sites. The depot, the lightship, I drove by the lightship, and the bow of the ship was just filled with people, and that was good to see. So if people want to get to experience their hometown in a different way, they can do that. So things are going well. Fort Street has the commence of the demolition of the road. That's already started the quay side. You'll see the barricades up. So all of our projects are fully underway.
Very good.
Now, does the museum, we have hometown people going in, and I think all of our hearts were that way to make sure they get free. Do we do anything with visitors? Can we identify them?
So they are trying to ask people where they're from, and we should be giving some information on that. We really want to be able, and you bring up an excellent point, we want to gauge how big of an economic driver is this?
Right.
And so we are working with that as well.
Yeah, because I realize we have a fiduciary responsibility. So,
Yep.
as far as the museum goes, okay.
Anything else? Is there a motion to adjourn?
So move, Madam Chair.
Meeting adjourned.